Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to ShAmber Nation, Wednesday's Lunch and Learn. How's everybody doing? Oh, Alex, I'm going to also give you Alex, just in case, give you access. I swear to God, today feels like a freaking Monday or a Friday. I don't know which one. Okay. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Hi, Mari. Hi, Emil. Look at that familiar face.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Hi, Erica. Hi, Maurice. Hi, Pamela. We'll get started in 2 seconds, maybe 3. Anybody have any wins, accomplishments, any milestones? Anybody have anything cool to share? Amber, maybe you have something awesome to share.
I do actually, on as a full organization. So you guys know Nonprofit Plug obviously has its for-profit side, but recently Sharon, the brilliant Dr. Sharon, added a nonprofit arm to the Nonprofit Plug. And so we have been, putting a lot of proposals for different opportunities, but something just kind of came out of nowhere, a true blessing. A lot of grassroots foundations, when they do get grants, a lot of times the person extending or the people extending the grant require a fiscal sponsor, meaning somebody with experience who will manage the money. Okay. And so them receiving the grant is contingent upon getting a fiscal sponsor. Apparently, fiscal sponsors are hard to find because there's a lot of work, a lot of managing, a lot of quality control, et cetera, when you decide to elect to be the fiscal sponsor. And even though fiscal sponsors are compensated, again, it's a lot of oversight. You actually become kind of a partner with the organization and with the project. But this organization, who was awarded $1.9 million over 3 years, was about to lose their grant. They had vetted through 5 fiscal sponsors and all of them declined. So I said, hey, would you guys consider Nonprofit Plug Dr. Sharon? And because of the relationships that Alex and Dr. Sharon have with this particular organization who is giving the grant, they approved the Nonprofit Plug, the 501c3, to be the fiscal sponsor. So this is our very first fiscal sponsor official opportunity.
It's so exciting. I think the coolest part was that this organization didn't lose out on that $1.9 million grant. So that was really cool. That was really cool. Big congrats. Amber's going to be really taking the financial lead on that one. So it's going to be really cool to see the impact from that organization. Anybody have, before we dive in, today is another super context heavy topic. Before I dive in, anybody else have anything cool that they want to share? Wins, accomplishments, milestones? Oh, we got a quiet group today. Okay, y'all better come prepared with some sort of accomplishment for next week. Okay, so we're going to dive in today. This is I'm going to call this a gnarly topic because it is so context heavy and it's basically looking at a year in review. So Jay, go ahead and put us on that second slide. So today we're going to be talking about the annual impact report. This one is critical because this is what's going to be used to showcase everything from the past year. This isn't necessarily a required task of nonprofit organizations, but really, if you don't have this, you won't be able to apply to a lot of grant opportunities. Donors won't continue to fund you. Funders won't continue to fund you. So it's very, very important. So there's a massive component to the overview of the importance of the annual impact report. All right, so a couple of different reasons. Annual impact reports are not just a requirement. They are a powerful tool for fostering transparency, building trust, and inspiring ongoing support from your community. So this presentation today is going to kind of guide you through the process of creating a comprehensive report. You can use this PowerPoint presentation that we'll email out to everybody. You guys can use this sort of as your step-by-step guidebook and workbook to creating this annual impact report. So these are the critical components as to why it's important to have your annual impact report. Like I said, building trust, demonstrating impact. And there's a critical component here, placing an emphasis on donor engagement. This is recognizing contributions, inspiring continued support, and having this feedback loop. What does that really kind of mean? That means when you acknowledge the vital role that donors play in your organization's success, that allows them to understand their impact in your organization. So that's very, very important. So another emphasis on why donor engagement is critical, and it inspires continued support. Showcasing the impact of donations encourages donors to continue supporting your cause. It reinforces the idea that their contributions make a real difference. And additionally, this feedback loop. This report can be a platform for feedback, inviting donors to share their thoughts and suggestions, fostering a sense of involvement and collaboration. Okay, so your takeaway for this slide, annual impact reports are not just a requirement. They are a powerful tool for fostering transparency, building trust, and inspiring ongoing support from your community. So use this guidebook, this presentation as your guidebook to walk you through the steps of each of the components of the annual impact report. Okay, go ahead and hit the next one, Jay. Oop, go back one. Okay, so these are the critical components and the essential areas to include in your annual impact report. The essential areas to include are your mission and vision, organizational overview, program highlights, financial overview, impact metrics, and then we're also actually going to go over some key design metrics and some also call to action. That those are two additional areas I think that you should include in your impact report, but really these are the essential areas to include: mission and vision, organizational overview, program highlights, financial overview, and your impact measures. So we're going to go through each one of those now. As usual for this one, it is very, very content heavy on the slides, so that way you guys can use this as your actual step-by-step workbook for creating your annual impact report. Any questions before I dive into the deep content of the annual impact report? Nada. Okay. All right, cool. Jay, go ahead and let's go to the next one. So let's talk about the mission and vision. The mission and vision. This is going to be the first page of your guys' annual impact report. This is where you define your organization's mission and vision and highlight how they guide your work and impact. So, mission statement, clearly articulate the primary purpose of your nonprofit. You're going to want to answer the question, why does your nonprofit exist? This statement should be concise, inspiring, and reflect the core value of your organization. We put it in an example here so you guys have it. Majority of all of you have mission statements already, but this would be a great opportunity for you to review your mission statement and see what sort of impact that it does have. So an example, to empower underserved communities through education, providing equal opportunities for personal and professional growth. Boom, concise, inspiring, reflects the core values. You also want to include your vision statement. This describes the desired future state that your organization aims to achieve. This should also be aspirational and provide long-term perspectives. So the difference, this is the question I get all the time from folks, is what's the difference between a mission statement and a vision statement? Mission statements are your primary purpose for your nonprofit organization right now. Your vision statement is your desired future state. So an example vision statement: a world where every individual, regardless of background, has access to quality education, the tools necessary to thrive. If you guys need help creating your mission and vision statements, go ahead and shoot us an email and we can take a look at what you got and provide you some examples or some feedback if you want. This is required component for your annual impact report is to include a mission and vision statement. So mission alignment. This annual impact report is kind of help you with your mission alignment because it's going to demonstrate how your programs and activities align with your mission. So this ensures that your actions are in harmony with your organizational's purpose. Example, our initiatives such as mentorship programs and scholarship opportunities directly align with our mission to empower through education. These are all components right in the beginning of your annual report. I remember when we were all in college and we had to write an introduction to our paper. This is sort of your introduction, your mission and your vision statement. This is going to show impact and decision making. So you're going to explain how your mission and vision influences strategic decisions. This can include program development, partnerships, resource allocation. So here's an example. When considering new projects, we prioritize initiatives that directly contribute to our mission of a more equitable and educated society. Okay, so take some time to really digest your mission and vision. Excellent opportunity for you to review the impact of your mission and vision statement that you have and if it's going to work. This is going to be the first component to your annual impact report. Okay, Jay, I'm ready for the next one. Oh, before I go on to the next one, any questions on, sorry, Jay, go back one. Any questions on mission and vision statements? No questions. Okay, cool. We'll come back to this. Okay, Jay, I'm ready. Yep. Okay. The next section is your organizational overview. Now, remember, today's PowerPoint is designed to be a step-by-step guide and workbook for you guys for creating your annual impact report. So use this to create all of your sections of your report. Second section, organizational overview. This is where you're going to provide a brief history of your nonprofit. This is probably one of my favorite parts of an annual impact report because it reminds me, it reminds donors, funders, it reminds the community, how did this all start? How did this all begin? So this can include your founding story. Cool thing to note about this. In your annual impact report, once you've done it once, more than likely it's going to be pretty much the same structure and some of the same components every single year. For example, once you do your annual impact report, you put your mission vision statement and your organizational overview in, you likely won't have to do that part at all again. It'll be the next couple of components we'll go over that you'll need to update, and maybe it's the design. And we're going to talk about design at the end of this. So your second section, your organizational overview after your mission and vision statement, is going to include a brief history of your nonprofit organization. What does this mean? This means your founding story and your key milestone. Sharing the origins of your organization, including the motivation and circumstances that led to its establishment. So impactful. Most of you guys are starting nonprofits because of personal stories. This is a great section to put your personal story and make people cry. We want that feel-good impact. That's the point of the organizational overview and providing a brief history of your nonprofit. So include the founding story. That is sometimes the most impactful part of your annual report because it lets people know, why does this nonprofit exist and why does it exist in relation to you? This is a really cool part. So then you're going to also want to highlight any key milestones, and this goes in the organizational overview section. So this may update each year. Highlight significant achievements and milestones throughout the years. This can include successful campaigns, impactful projects, and any type of community recognition. This overview section is your chance to gloat and brag about your nonprofit organization in a general sense. So when you're highlighting key achievements, challenges, and innovations, that also goes into your organizational overview section. So in your achievements, this is where you can showcase specific accomplishments, successful initiatives, partnerships, awards received. This reinforces your credibility and your expertise in your field. So this is a really critical component to your annual impact report, needs to be in there. So be sure to follow this. This is your step-by-step guide to creating that annual impact report. These are the minimum components to that report. It's also, over the years, we've learned that a lot of donors and funders like to understand what your challenges are with your organization. Sometimes they have a solution for it, or maybe it's something that they want to fund, but they like to know that there's other challenges that you guys are addressing as well. So in the challenges and learning section, this is where you can acknowledge challenges your organization has faced and discuss how you've overcome them. Donors and funders love this shit. Include this in your annual impact report. So here's an example for you. While the pandemic presented unforeseen challenges, we adapted by transitioning to virtual learning, reaching even more students in need. It just shows how you guys can maneuver your nonprofit organization and address the community and support the community. So let's recap this slide. This is the first section of your annual impact report is your mission and vision statement. Second section is here, organizational overview. Provide a brief history of your nonprofit. This includes your founding story and key milestones, and then highlighting any key achievements, challenges, innovations, and learning. Any questions on your organizational overview? Okay, we'll keep it going. If you have questions, feel free to interrupt or put the questions in the chat box and we'll get those in. Don't hesitate to ask though. Okay, Jay, I'm ready for the next one. Okay, third section. So section 1 was your mission and vision statement. Section 2 was your overview. Section 3, program highlights. This is probably one of the most important parts of your annual impact report. This is showcasing the impact of your programs. That's the whole point of an annual impact report. Impact. So in your program highlights, you're going to have a program overview, success stories and testimonials. See here, quantitative and qualitative results. In this part, which we mention at every single lunch and learn, is we talk about data and the impact of data. We got visitors today. Okay. Oh, I got you. So in your program highlights section, provide a concise overview of your key programs, outlining their objectives and target beneficiaries. So this sets the stage for a more detailed exploration of your impact report. So here's an example. Our flagship programs include after-school tutoring, mentorship initiatives, and vocational training, all aimed at empowering marginalized youth through education and skill development. And with that, to support it is the success story. Meet Sarah, a scholarship recipient who went on to graduate with honors and is now pursuing a career in STEM. Her journey exemplifies the transformative power of education. These are very, very brief and short examples, but it's to show you guys what really would go in these sections. So in the program highlight section, in addition to your program overview, having your quantitative and qualitative results shows the world how your impact is actually impacting through data and metrics. So quantitative metrics, these are key performance indicators. KPIs is what we call those, and statistical data to quantify the outcomes of your program. So this could include the number of beneficiaries, academic improvements, or community reach. Example, our literacy program saw a 25% increase in reading proficiency among participating students, with over 1,000 students benefiting from our tutoring services. Sounds like a pretty freaking dope organization. I don't know what organization that is, but that's the example that we are providing to you. More than likely a youth mentorship program, development, after school program, any kind of one of these community centers. This is likely some of the annual impact reports and data that they're going to include. So that's your quantitative metrics. Those are specific numbers, percentages, numbers of beneficiaries, academic improvements, number in reach. Your qualitative impact, this is supplement to the quantitative. This more tells the story. qualitative insights. So these are like anecdotes, quotes, case studies. This illustrates the broader intangible impact of your programs that you have on individuals and communities. So here's an example of qualitative. So remember the quantitative, which is the numbers, that's like a 25% increase in reading proficiency. Your qualitative impact is more storytelling. The example, beyond academic improvements, so that's that 25% reading proficiency, our mentorship program fosters a sense of community and self-confidence. That's evidenced by testimonials highlighting personal growth and resilience. Okay, so this is critical for you guys for as you highlight and develop your program highlight section. So a lot of you that are doing this for the first time, this is going to be very stressful and overwhelming because you may not have been collecting your data or telling your stories over the past year, and we're in the month of December. So we're going to talk about the annual impact report every year in December and again in probably February or March to remind you the components you need to be collecting information for throughout the year. So this is going to be really important. Quantitative and qualitative data, these are your results. This is how you're demonstrating the impact of your program areas. And then I always love to add, because everybody has different learning styles and different comprehension styles, add visual representations into your report. This is like infographics and visuals. This enhances the understanding by incorporating infographics, charts, and visuals to represent data. It makes more complex information more accessible and engaging. This is so that every type of person reading your impact report is able to comprehend the impact and understand your story. So an example of that would be a before and after infographic to visually depict the positive changes in academic performance before and after the program participation. So in that second bullet, talking about quantitative metrics where we saw a 25% increase in reading proficiency, a really cool infographic would show what that reading proficiency was before, the impact of the program implemented in the school, and an infographic showing the impact that this had. And so you get to see cool lines like this. That gives you a visual representation of your program highlights. So third section of your annual impact report is program highlights. Showcase the impact of your program. Have a program overview, success stories and testimonials. Be sure to highlight your quantitative and qualitative results and include visual representations. Any questions on the program highlights? Okay, so your key takeaway from program highlights. Program highlights serve as the heart of your annual impact report. This providing a concrete evidence of your organization's efficacy. By combining the qualitative metrics with compelling stories, you create a comprehensive narrative that resonates with your audience and emphasizes the transformative power of your programs. Okay. Alex, yes.
For organizations who might have been informally helping people before they got incorporated as a nonprofit, how do you recommend to approach that? Do you record that or not really?
Absolutely. I would use that and tell that as part of the story. So even in the program overview, you could talk about how, we've been around since 2015, but maybe we didn't formally incorporate until 2018 or something like that. Because you're still having impact on the community, it's part of your organization. I think it's okay to include that in there. And you can just note that part of this impact is from this time frame. Any other questions? Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the next one, Jay. Okay. Financial overview. Who better than to talk to us about finances than the badass finance mastery, Miss Amber Anthony? I'm gonna hand this one off to you.
Okay, so we'll go over the slide and then we'll start to tie it in, of course, to best practices, your budgeting, and of course, your bookkeeping and record keeping. So transparent presentation of financial information. And of course, that comes from your financial statements. Your financial statements, of course, are what are generated from your bookkeeping. And of course, tied into your bank statements. Obviously, you want things to be as factual as possible, reconciled against your bank statements, reconciled against your credit card statements, and any other type of, petty cash transactions, etc. It all tells a story, and it's so very important to track. The nonprofits that we work with generally come to us and already have bookkeeping in place. But the one thing that we've noticed is that they don't have their segmentation dialed in to really highlight each individual program, special event, fundraising event, etc. So in your bookkeeping practices, in your financials, definitely make sure that you're doing that segmentation, because not only do you want to show as an organization what you've done, but you want to be able to pull that important data for everything that you want to highlight. So the only time that you can, in fact, give transparent presentation is when you have done your due diligence, when your books are, in fact, up to date and also accurate. The next part, impactful visualizations for financial data. Big on this. Everybody loves a pie chart. Everybody loves a bar graph. Everybody loves a table with percentages, right? You want to see how things are moving. You want to show that, for instance, if this particular year, your organization worked really hard to do a fundraiser, whereas last year was your first year, this is your second year for fundraising. And let's say last year, you only raised $1,200, but this year you put in a huge amount of effort and you raised $5,000, you want to be able to showcase that, because that shows that, number one, you're doing all the necessary things on the back end, right, to build relationships. And number two, it shows progress, that you are in fact moving the needle. And when you use pie charts and bar graphs to show progress on the money that you are collecting through your initiatives, but also the money that you are saving in your operations, and also the money that is going directly to your programs, this is where it gets incredibly exciting. And again, you, like Dr. Sharon said, you can brag on it. And it's truly very powerful. So making sure, of course, that your data is in fact accurate and up to date, because remember, if your books are 3 months behind, 6 months behind, you can't report transparent and accurate financials. And you definitely don't want to start creating a narrative or a story with fancy pie charts, bar graphs, etc., when that data hasn't been vetted through and, accounted for. So step one, make sure that your data is completely up to date and accurate before you even take the next steps to start to segment it and tell the story. And then as far as your financial highlights and achievements, again, the numbers tell the story. And what's beautiful in your accounting softwares, you can run year over year, or month over month, or event over event. There are so many fun reports in QuickBooks, okay? And especially if you are using what's called tags or classes, oh my gosh, you can literally run any and everything to tell you the story. And, I want you guys to have a childlike curiosity with this. I get it that you may not be in the weeds in the day-to-day of the mundane things like syncing your bank accounts and doing the classifications and reconciling, right? Oftentimes you are paying, your bookkeeper, accountant, or whomever to do that. But when those financial reports hit your inbox, and I pray that you are all working with a financial team that gives you your financial reports by the 10th or the 15th of the following month, okay? Because remember, what gets tracked gets done, right? And so that's why you want to be able to see what happened in November, you should already have your hands on what happened in November to be able to look at it, say, that's interesting. I didn't realize that this happened. Oh, no worries, because we have this coming in for December, right? You want to stay on top of it. But I do want you to have a childlike curiosity when these financial statements hit your inbox. Print them, look at them, compare and contrast them, because it will show you things oftentimes that you're not already tracking. And at that point, you start to do a really deep dive. And with that said, it empowers you from an organizational and operational standpoint of what you're doing well and what you need to improve upon. But oftentimes there are nuggets within these numbers and within this data that you go, oh my gosh, I had no idea. You guys should be proud of an increase of 8%, an increase of 12%, okay? That is huge. Oftentimes we don't think about percentage growth. We only look at dollar amounts. So we say, oh, 5,000 versus, 1,500. And, I need a spreadsheet. I'm not a mathematician, but that is what, thousands of percent increase, and that is something to brag about. And people who like to support nonprofits, when they see that type of impact, they know there is value. And that is what you are trying, of course, to convey through doing a financial overview. And that's the fact gathering, that's the data gathering before you start to create the, impact report.
Any questions from anybody on the financial overview section? This is a section that is included at a minimum in your annual impact report. So it's very important that you guys have a overview of your financials and your profit and loss statement, or in the nonprofit sector, we call it statement of activity, because you do actually include that in your annual impact report. It's really important, like Amber said, to highlight those key financial achievements, especially year to year. Sheree, yes, what's up?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's your question?
My question is, okay, because my husband has an organization and the chief financial officer resigned, right? And so now I am taking over that until we find another chief financial officer, and being a secretary at the same time. So we are behind in bookkeeping, because outside of that, I got my own nonprofit that I'm trying to get together in school and, life. And so I'm trying to figure out how they're behind. So how do I catch up and make sure I am okay to present an annual impact statement, like at our, like in the beginning of the year, to like our board, and, put it on our page and stuff like that? Like, what steps can I take to catch up?
Are you in QuickBooks?
No, we use Wave, and the Co-America Bank. So I did what you said. I did print out everything, and so I'm trying to go back and forth. But some stuff, you have to put in manually, and some stuff I just don't even know what it is. So yeah, I don't have QuickBooks for this.
Yes. So, and please know that, welcome to our world. Okay. So as financial managers of many, nonprofits, we too are in the same boat, in that, there's oftentimes you have to enter things by hand, and of course, figure out what something was, especially if it's 6 months ago. So know that you're not alone in this. My recommendation is figuring out how far behind are you? Are we talking 6 months, 9 months? So step one, how far behind are you? Step two, print out all the bank statements for those months. Literally have them in your hand. Why do I say this? Because I want you to manage your own expectations and wrap your head around the project, okay? So as you look at, let's say there's 6 months of bank statements, you're then going to look at number of transactions. A lot of times it becomes overwhelming to us because it's something that's abstract. So this is a tip that I'm giving you, again, to manage your expectations and set yourself up for success to manage this catch-up project. Okay, so when you actually look at these 6 months of bank statements and you realize, you know what? It's only 30 transactions per month, you know, times 6, 180 transactions. That's not crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's going to take me some time, you know, but it's not undoable. And then from there, once it's in your head, okay, I have to catch up 180 transactions, and truth be told, 40 of them, I have no idea what they are. But the good news is I know what the other 140 are, right? So you do what you can through a first quick pass, categorize everything, get the 140 in, and then those other 40 are in the box that says, I don't know what these are. And then from there, the next time you sit down to do it is when you start, you know, trying to figure out what they are, you know, with source documents or, you know, going back for receipts and whatnot. Please feel free, you know, to drop any of this info in our Facebook group, you know, after you've done this like quick analysis, like, hey, you know, I see that it is in fact 6 months. Amber, you were close. It's 160 transactions. You know, what do I do from here? It's not syncing. I may have to, you know, just kind of give us a little update, and then I can kind of frame it a little more for you as to what your next steps are. Now, if it's a skill issue that you don't feel comfortable in your software, you know, then obviously there's going to be a learning curve, and you know, you have to get to some level of comfortability, or you have to get somebody who knows how to do it. And then of course, you know, it's quick when when somebody's well vetted in this, right?
Right.
Are you comfortable in the software?
I'm comfortable in it. Like in addition to that, like I help my dad with his property, and so we have a property management company, so I'm comfortable. It's just that I'm also doing that and this, and so I'm in my own tax end of the year season for other stuff,
Yes.
and so I just wanted to know what any any tips. So thank you for that. I appreciate it, and I'll definitely will put it in the Facebook group for update.
Yeah, please do, and let us know if we can help.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jay, let's hit the next section. All right, so we've gone over your key elements to the annual impact report. So that's going to be the mission vision. That's your first section. Section 2, organizational overview. Section 3, program highlights. Section 4, financial overview. This is your final section of your annual impact report for the essential areas. So we're going to go over impact metrics. So when we're looking at the impact metrics, and I'm just pulling up my notes here for you guys, nothing wants to load. Okay, so impact metrics. We're going to define and measure key performance indicators. So this is how a funder, donor, the community, this is how you understand the impact of your organization. So we want to have clearly defined metrics. So you're going to outline the key performance indicators, your KPIs, that align with your organization's mission and goals. These metrics should be specific, measurable, and directly tied to the outcomes of your programs. So our example, our KPIs include literacy rates, graduation rates, and post-program employment for our vocational training initiatives, providing a comprehensive view of our impact. So see how that's a clearly defined metric? That's exactly what a KPI is, key performance indicators. So again, examples of key performance indicators are going to be specific, measurable, and directly tied to the outcome of your organization. So with this organization, this nonprofit, a couple of their KPIs include literacy rates, graduation rates, post-program employment. These may actually apply to a lot of you. A lot of you guys have nonprofit organizations that are within this same sort of mission to serve the community through maybe financial literacy, tutoring, after-school programs. So these might be some KPIs that you can use. We also want to look at the quantitative data, providing numerical data that illustrates the scale and scope of your impact. So this might include the number of beneficiaries reached, the percentage of improvement in specific outcomes, or other relevant quantitative measures. Example, in 2022, our STEM education program directly impacted 500 students, resulting in a 20% increase in math proficiency scores. Another example might be, for a lot of you that are in transitional housing or looking to end homelessness, things like that. Another example might be in 2023, our transitional housing program ended homelessness for over 500 families, resulting in I'm making up this number, 10% decrease in homelessness. That's your quantitative data. So that's going to show your specific, measurable, and directly tied to the outcomes of your program metrics. You're going to want to illustrate tangible impact through data and visuals. So remember, we talked about this on one of the other slides, that we want to be able to share our impact report with everybody so that anyone with different types of comprehension levels will have the ability to understand and relate to your annual impact report. So this is your opportunity to provide data visualization. This is charts, graphs, infographics to present your impact data visually. As we said earlier, this enhances comprehension and allows stakeholders to quickly grasp the significance of your achievements. Okay? Before and after comparisons, those are my absolute fave. I love before and after comparisons. It shows you where you were, you implemented your program, and where you're going. It demonstrates visually exactly how you guys impacted your program. And if you're doing a simple bar graph or a line chart or something, it shows your improvement just like that, if that's what your data is going to show. So I love before and afters. Those are very impactful for funders, donors, for the community. It's very easy to comprehend. It shows the transformation impact of your programs, side-by-side comparisons of beneficiary conditions or outcomes. So an example would be display a visual showcasing the academic performance of students before and after receiving tutoring services. So cool. Okay, incorporate qualitative insights for a holistic view. So this is qualitative impact stories, community feedback. Your qualitative impact stories, this is cool. This is where we talked earlier about storytelling, testimonials. You want to balance your quantitative data, that's your numbers, with your qualitative storytelling insights. So this is success stories, testimonials, case studies. These narratives provide a deeper understanding of the human impact behind the numbers. They go hand in hand. You have to have quantitative and qualitative data. Quantitative, think of quantity, that's numbers. Qualitative, think of quality, that's your storytelling. That's how I remember the difference between those two words, because I'll tell you, I did not get that at first. Going through statistics in school sucked and I failed it. So you have to find sometimes key ways to understand some of these terms. Qualitative, quality story. Quantitative, quantity of numbers. I hope you all have dreams of me talking about qualitative and quantitative data tonight. Okay. So also incorporating community feedback. That's how you better serve your community. This is my favorite example to give of this one, including getting feedback from your community. If you're going to give out turkeys for Thanksgiving and you just go to some community and you give out turkeys, how do you know that that community has a stove to cook the turkey in? So it's very important that you ask the community for feedback and you ask the community that you're serving what best kind of support they may need, because clearly a turkey for a family that does not have a stove is not impactful. So it's very important to include community feedback. Incorporate this feedback from your clients that you serve, from your volunteers, and from your community members. So this not only adds authenticity to your impact report, but it demonstrates your commitment to listening and responding to the needs of the community. So an example of this could be including quotes from the community, expressing gratitude for your organization's contributions. That's basically like testimonials. Impact metrics go beyond numbers. They tell the story of lives transformed and communities uplifted. So by combining qualitative data with qualitative insights, you paint a comprehensive picture of your organizational's effectiveness and the meaningful changes it brings out. Any questions on this last essential component to your annual impact report? Okay. I told y'all this was going to be a very content heavy topic today. So next, we're going to look at, Jay, go ahead and go to the next slide. So this isn't a component that you include in your annual report. This is just an important piece when you're putting together your annual impact report. Unfortunately I think unfortunately, because I don't have the skill set in design, but your design of your impact report actually has an impact on the way people view your organization. So these are some engaging design tips that you can use when creating your annual impact report. Some of this stuff I've already included in each of the sections, like suggesting visuals and infographics and icons and things like that. Maintain a consistent visual theme throughout your report. This includes colors, fonts, imagery. This consistency fosters a professional and polished look, making the report more visually appealing. So you should have a brand guide for your organization, your logo, your brand colors. This should be consistent throughout your annual impact report. Incorporate infographics and icons to break down complex information. Visual aids make more data more digestible and memorable for your audience. Visual aids make data more digestible and memorable for your audience. So use icons to represent different program categories and create infographics to showcase your program outcomes. And enhance readability and accessibility. So this should be clear headings and subheadings, readable fonts and formatting. These are things I tell my undergraduate college students and high school students what they need to be focusing on when they're writing a paper. It needs to be legible, the same font throughout the whole document. It should be aesthetically pleasing. The flow throughout the whole document should flow. These are things to keep in mind for your annual impact report. So go back to some, high school and undergraduate days and incorporate that into your engaging design. So a couple other engaging design tips might be including photos and images, graphs and charts. You can have interactive elements in your online version of your annual report too. Those are really fun. So maybe hyperlinks and navigation. So if your report's going to be viewed online, you can include hyperlinks for easy navigation. You may even create an interactive table of contents that links to specific sessions for a user-friendly experience. Video and multimedia. Maybe your nonprofit organization has a super cool public service announcement, or we also call that a PSA, that you want to include in your annual impact report for that online version. That's definitely something that's really fun and unique to add into that. Consider embedding short videos or multimedia elements to bring stories to life. This adds that dynamic and engaging dimension to your report. Okay. Design plays a crucial role in capturing and retaining the attention of your audience. So a visually appealing and well-organized annual report enhances the overall impact of your message, making it more likely that stakeholders will fully engage and understand the valuable work that your organization is doing. So let me say that one more time. We're talking about engaging design tips for your annual impact report. Design plays a crucial role in capturing and retaining the attention of your audience. A visually appealing and well-organized report enhances the overall impact of your message. This makes it more likely that stakeholders will fully engage with and understand the valuable work that your organization is doing. Any questions on the engaging design tips? Remember, this isn't a component or essential section of your annual report. These are the design tips for when you're done with your annual report and you're putting all the pieces together and you're making an aesthetically pleasing document to share. Okay, Jay, let's hit the last slide in our last 5 minutes here. This is your call to action slide. So this is another critical component that I want you to consider when you're creating your annual report. and how you can leverage your annual report to sort of take you to the next stage. So the call to action serves as the final motivating touch point of your annual impact report by providing clear avenues for involvement, expressing gratitude, and summarizing the impact achieved. This allows you to inspire readers to take tangible steps in supporting and being a part of your organization's continued success. So this means talking about in your annual report, volunteer opportunities, donations, how they can contribute financially to support your organization, your social media handles, your contact information, your website, having a thank you message in there, and an impact summary. So this call to action section, although not required for the annual impact report, I would add this as the final component to your annual impact report. This call to action section, it serves as your final motivating touch point of your annual impact report. So this provides a clear avenue for involvement, your opportunity to express gratitude, and your opportunity to summarize the impact that your nonprofit organization has achieved. This inspires your readers to take tangible steps to supporting your nonprofit organization and next steps going forward. So that concludes your guys's workbook on and step-by-step guide to creating your annual impact report. So remember to check out this recording, use this PowerPoint as your workbook and your guidebook. The essential areas to include mission and vision statement, organizational overview, program highlights, financial overview, impact metrics, and then I suggest you also add that call to action section. So this is what each of the bullet points, visuals, graphics to help you guys enhance and understand this workbook aspect can be emphasized, and you guys can use this presentation template to fill in the details specific to your own nonprofit organization. That's it for your annual impact report. This is your workbook. This is your guidebook. That was today's Lunch and Learn. This is today's Shit Show. This is today's ShAmber Nation. Any questions on the annual impact report for your nonprofit organization? This may be the first time for some of you. This may be you're preparing your second annual impact report. Any questions on what this looks like? Y'all don't have any questions, you are free to go for today. We will see you guys next week for another really fun topic. Thanks so much for joining us today for our Lunch and Learn at the Nonprofit Plug. Y'all have a great week. Happy holidays. Brooke, yes. Uh-oh, I can't hear you, Brooke. No, not necessarily a handout for today, but we do have this PowerPoint will be shared with everybody. You can use this PowerPoint as your workbook and step-by-step guide to creating your annual impact report. So we'll email a copy of this all out to everybody. Brooke, while you deal with that, Sarah, what's your question? Oh, I think she just disappeared. Oh, they're here. Sarah, go ahead. Sarah, go ahead. I can't hear Sarah. I can't hear Sarah either. Is anyone else having any issues, or is that just me?
No, I can't hear
I
Sarah.
can't hear either.
Donna, let's see if your volume works. Maybe she doesn't have a question. Donna, you're on mute. If you have a question, let us know.
Are you able to hear me now?
Oh, yes. Brooke, I can hear you.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Sharon. Yeah, sorry about the technical difficulties, but I wanted to say thank you for hosting this workshop. It was really good. This was my first time being able to join, and I felt all the information was really helpful and informative. So yeah, I'm thinking about now doing an annual report, and So my nonprofit is fairly new. This will be our first year as a official nonprofit, but we've been functioning as like a student group. So a lot of the people that my team are students. So I'm facing a dilemma right now where it's like, okay, I need professional staff or staff outside of the students, because it's hard to meet deadlines and things like this when you have students that have finals and stuff. And I just graduated myself, so I understand like the commitment and really being able to, especially when you're reaching like your 4th year and actually getting closer to your career. So how would you suggest I go about doing things like this in the future?
So is your question specifically asking about putting together all the components of the annual report and getting this ready for next year?
Yes.
Okay,
I would
so
say that.
what
and
I
this
would
year as
do-
well.
Sure,
if we
yeah.
could possible.
So what I would do is when we email out this PowerPoint, download it, take those middle sections that are the essential components to the annual report and put it into like a Word document, and just take your time and slowly start going through those and answering all of those sections, because it's very detailed on the PowerPoint what to include. The PowerPoint says more than just mission vision. It says like exactly what type of mission vision to include and the different components, especially with the program areas and with the metrics. And as you go through those, you'll be answering all the questions and you'll end up with a completed annual report. And it may identify gaps that you have so that you can use that to prepare for 2024.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Brooke.
Mhm.
And then Sarah's question was, what length should a annual report be? It's really dependent on your nonprofit organization, but I would say no more than 4 to 5 pages. No one's going to read it anyway. So do what you can to be condensed, concise, and clear, and create an annual report that's impactful for readers, because you know they're not going to read a 10 to 15 page annual report. Donna, were you able to unmute? Maybe not. You can always, we'll put our email addresses in the PowerPoint of the presentation. We'll email out a copy to everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining our Lunch and Learn today. Y'all have a fantastic week. Take care, everybody.